Hey everyone, this is Pause or Repeat. Here we figure out whether a game is really worth your time and money. Today's game is Lies of P. Lies of P is a Souls-like game that takes the old Italian tale of Pinocchio and gives it a macabre twist that many Souls-like games are known for. So don't expect a lighthearted adventure like Disney's adaptation. With that being said, let's first take a look at the gameplay. The gameplay of Lies of P is going to be familiar to those who have played the likes of From Software's Bloodborne and Dark Souls. The gameplay consists of fending off various enemies and bosses throughout the storyline and using weapons and abilities along the way. Lies of P takes so many cues from Software's games that even the interface is similar. But that ends up being a strength, because the gameplay is refined enough already by those games. All this game has to do as a result is keep the player engaged with the combat. Between the crafting system for changing up your weapons to the bosses, this game does a good job of keeping you on your toes and wanting to experiment with what works best. The difficulty may spike up at times, but that is to be expected from this genre of game. But you might be wondering how the story is. As was stated before, this game is based loosely on the story of Pinocchio. You are playing as Pinocchio himself, a puppet made by Geppetto. Geppetto is known as an inventor that has ushered in a new era of automation. Using his puppet inventions, the city of Krat starts to implement puppets into workplaces and homes. However, an event called the Puppet Frenzy causes the puppets to turn violent, murdering their owners. To make matters worse, those who didn't die were now also subject to the petrification disease, a disease spread by the energy source of the puppets. Finally, a mysterious blue butterfly that goes by the name of Sophia gives life to Pinocchio, subsequently also giving him free will, something the other automatons did not have. From there, you are sent to stop the automatons and bring back order to the chaos in the city of Krat. Along the way, you are given choices to tell the truth or lie, and your choices will determine the ending that you are given. But now the question still stands. Pause or repeat? Alright, the Bloodborne PC port looks amazing. I mean, sorry,
You would start it off like that. You know, it's funny that you thought that, because I thought the same thing. Bloodborne and Dark Souls.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's actually really uncanny how similar it is looking to Bloodborne. I mean, I've never gotten the chance to play Bloodborne because it's a PlayStation exclusive that has never come to PC, and I would like to play it on PC at some point. But this is as close as I can get, pretty much. And regardless of it copying Bloodborne, you could say it actually does a really good job of copying it and trying to replicate a From Software game. And I'd say it actually even implements some things that a game like Bloodborne could actually benefit from. Things like that crafting system where you can take handles or the actual weapon part of a weapon and put them together and make something brand new to even experiment with. Like, that actually makes this game really fun to just hop in, say, hey, I want to try putting a chainsaw blade on my my rapier, and see if anything happens from that. And I had a great time playing it as a result of that. I would say, I don't know how it is compared to Bloodborne. I'm sure, pretty similar in terms of
You're not
gameplay.
missing out. You're not missing out.
Yeah,
Everybody,
exactly.
I can't stand Dark Souls and Bloodborne games. I'm sorry. I'm just one of those kind of guys. So I'm going to just say it right out of the way. This is a definite pause for me. I'm not a big fan of these kind of style of games. I think, like, when you play these frustrating combat mechanics, these unbalanced battles, and I hate the dodge mechanics that come with these kind of style of games. They're frustrating, but the dialogue and cutscenes are so intriguing, because when you turn a classic children's stories into adult video games, yeah, you're going to be enticed to want to play it. So that's the real major knock that I have. Why do people like playing these style of games? I never understood it. I mean, do you really want your blood boiling? If you want your blood boiling, you're going to be playing Lies of P.
Chris, you know what's coming right now. You know
okay.
To say,
okay,
it's just a skill issue.
Okay, it's just a skill issue. I understand. But, like, some of us don't have time to delve into all the nonsense. I mean, it seems like you progress pretty well, like in the beginning, but then like as you take a turn into the second half of the game, the difficulty spikes massively to the point where you're just gonna walk away. I mean, this is like Callisto Protocol all over again. It doesn't even matter when you play on like an easy difficulty. It makes it so frustrating. It's not supposed to feel like a 9-to-5 job. It's not. Like, that's what makes me so like I really wanted to like this game. We talked about it as like being one of those anticipated games of the month, and then when it finally dropped, finally got the hands on it, and it's just like I know some people are going to be hating me for it. I don't really care. It's my opinion after all. Right? But it might be for you. The story is enticing. You will definitely like those dark elements because after all, the story of Pinocchio was not really originally meant to be a children's tale, obviously because Disney, really kind of twisted things up over the years. But, if you want to kind of revisit that kind of old school era-esque, maybe this game's for you, but I don't got the time for it, HenricK.
That's fair because it is a challenge. These kind of games, they're always challenging in one way or the other. Elden Ring is really like the easiest one out of these to really jump into. At least the consensus is that I would say.
Yeah.
But I don't know if it's necessarily you're going into this as like a masochistic adventure. You're kind of going into these kind of games because you want a challenge. At least the gamers that are playing these games, they want that challenge. They want something more difficult than your bog standard game where the normal setting is kind of just like a porous mode, and then the hard setting is just a little bit harder than that. Like these games, they don't
A
have
little,
a
a little
difficulty
hard.
slider. I mean, these games, they don't have a difficulty slider, so like you get what you
Yeah.
get, and you have no opportunity to even put it into any like game journalist mode or anything like that where it's a tourist mode. So you have to overcome the challenges. You have to get better at the game to progress. And when the story's good, like in this one, the story ends up being a bit of like a reward for your effort. Like you put
I
in
guess that's a good
20
point. I
deaths
think
and then
that's an
finally you
excellent
get a
point that you're
cutscene.
making. I will give you that. That's an excellent point that you're referencing. It does feel rewarding. Like once you finally get past some of those excruciating moments, you're like, finally, I get the moment we've been waiting for, the cutscene.
Exactly.
But did it?
Yeah,
I mean,
and
it's not.
I
Yeah, go for it, HenricK.
I was just gonna say I think it's really cool what they're doing. I'm not gonna spoil the ending, but I'm excited to see what they do with a different game coming up because it looks like they're kind of trying to work on something.
Yeah, a lot of people have been kind of referencing like possibly like an Alice in Wonderland, but haven't we already done that like too many times? Like I think we can find another
Yeah.
children's tale that we can,
Well,
really bring to this world.
there are other children's tales or supposed children's tales, and they kind of build up towards a different one, not Alice in Wonderland. So we'll see.
Interesting. Maybe they might touch a William Shakespeare play. Who knows? And maybe twist it up. Hamlet gone wrong. I have no idea. But there's no knock on this. But like, didn't you kind of feel like it would have been kind of cool if there was some like online mechanics in the game?
That could be kind of cool because I know that a lot of the From Software games have been doing that recently. Like we just reviewed Armored Core pretty
Yeah.
recently, and that one has an online PvP mode. I think that I'm okay with it not having an online component because it really is crafted as a single player experience, and I don't want it to be a situation where they just throw in a multiplayer mode because they feel they need to hit that requirement of a multiplayer mode in their game, and then it feels a little half baked and it's like I could have done without that. That's
Yeah.
my opinion on that.
Oh yeah, it's totally true. But I mean, people heard from me like right at the top of Pause and Repeat. We haven't heard from you as of yet, HenricK the Wreck. How you vibing with Liza P?
For me personally, it is a definite repeat. I recommend it
Mm.
to people who enjoy this kind of game because I think, like I said, it actually fixes some things that the From Software formula hasn't done yet. And I think that if you already familiar with this style of game, you're gonna have a good time.
That's a good point. So hey, we're split here, fam, but we want to know from you gamers. Let us know if HenricK the Wreck is outlandish, and your boy Chris Collins just knows how to tell it straight to the people, you let us know what's good, gamers.
Let us know if maybe it's just a skill issue again.
That is totally, absolutely correct. I know. It's okay to admit when you suck at gaming. That's being a gamer.
I will admit when
all.
I suck at a game too. I'm not the greatest at every game.
Right, exactly.